He was chilling and went to bed. Little did I know he wouldn't wake up.
Wow.
Right?
Clipping out the girls and pasting them on index cards and selling them to kids in school.
No way. Damn.
Man, I can't really trust people that's never been in the military or never done time.
Oh,
you know?
Yeah.
They had some heroin, and I was like 14 years old, and he was like, "You want to try some?" I was like, "Sure," you know, and I tried it. And I remember I called my girl at the time. I was like, "Babe, you know, I got this stuff. It's so good."
What up, family? This is the Decisive Element podcast with Ronnie Portillo. Now let's get it. This is on silent. Yep. Airplane mode. Bam. We recording?
Yep.
All right.
Blessings.
You ready, bro?
I'm ready, brother.
All right. Hey, welcome everybody to the Decisive Element podcast. We're here again. Why do I keep saying that? You know where you're at. You wouldn't be here if you didn't know what the fuck this is about. You know what I'm saying? Like, you clicked on the Decisive Element podcast. I don't have to say it every time. Yeah, I'll get whatever. Anyways, hey, I'm here with a friend I just met, Danny G.
Blessings, people.
We had a great conversation this past weekend. We're like, bro, let's get you on. Let's have a conversation, find out what you're doing.
Yeah.
So I'm grateful. Thank you for being here, man. Thank you for being part of this. And like you just said, being part of the roots, the growing right now.
The grassroots.
The grassroots. So we're here. Shit, man. I guess let's just, what sparked the conversation? That you're into water. You're into bioengineering a little bit, if you want to call it that. I'm not sure what all these technical words we're going to get into.
For sure.
But pretty much he's recycling water, making the soil better. Has a water business, he was saying. And then he has this Garden of Divinity.
Yeah, nonprofit.
Nonprofit that he's working with soil and all different types.
Turning waste into resources.
There we go.
One of our mottos.
Yeah, erasing the resources.
Yeah,
I like it a lot.
Because the waste, you know, over time we call these things waste, and it's like that saying, like, one man's trash is another man's treasure.
Yeah.
You know, so what we do is we find these things that one person could call waste and really just clean them up a little bit.
Okay.
You know, and I feel like throughout this course of history, that's what it's all about, finding those diamonds in the rough and kind of polishing them up a little bit and, you know, making some beautiful things.
There's nothing new under the sun, man.
Nah, everything that's supposed to be here is already here.
Yeah, and we can just reuse it, do it again in a better way.
For sure.
So, man, Danny, let's get to you, man. What's your story? How did this all come to fruition? Let's get to the beginning.
Yeah,
what was what was the point where I like to call it like the awakening, but what was the point you realized that you were the decisive element of your life, and where did that shake come from? And
a lot, brother, a lot. So, you know, I guess I'll just break it down. Like, even as a younger kid, you know, I grew up, you know, was kind of raised in kind of a, you know, a nice element.
Okay.
You know, a nice element. And then, you know, things made a change. Things made a change in my personal life and my family's life. You know, lost my father when I was 9. You know, I got an older brother that's 6 years older than me. You know, my father, you know, was drinking a lot, doing that whole thing, and just had a little toxic environment at home. And, you know, he ended up taking his own life.
Damn.
You know, ended up taking his own life, which led into a lot, you know, being a 9-year-old kid turned into being, you know, in some essence, a man overnight, you know, like being innocent and then being like, oh, I got to learn how to like feed myself, you know, and that's what kind of like led me into like my entrepreneurialness, was, you know, faced with survival, you know, and started renting out my video games and clipping out, you know, getting like my older brother to buy me little nudie magazines and clipping out the girls and pasting them on index cards and selling them to kids in school.
No
you know?
way, damn! I've never even heard that one. Mike, have you heard that before?
No, I was gonna say I've never heard it. The closest thing I've ever heard to that was Theo Vaughn talked about a guy, this comedian, about this kid on the bus that used to draw really good, and he would draw pictures of like naked girls and he would sell them. But I've never heard of that.
That's a fire. That's nice. Okay.
I seen a void and I filled it. You know what I mean? And you know, like that kind of like spiraled into like you know, just like, okay, you know, just kind of like making monies and feeding myself. And, you know, my brother, he was 6 years older than me, so he kind of turned more into like the street life and you know, like dealing with that whole thing, which eventually you know, I found plant medicine you know, very young. Even before my father passed, I was already kind of smoking cannabis, you know, very, very little bits. And you know, after he passed, you know, picked up the cannabis and you know, that kind of thing. And you know, just kind of use that as an escape, you know, that as an escape, which eventually led me into so much more, you know, because cannabis isn't a gateway drug, but it's the reason why we have that connotation with it is because we call it a drug. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, for instance, being so young, not having the education, it's like, okay, by this young, I'm already smoking a drug. Yeah. You know what I mean? So as I've progressed, you know, by like 12 years old, it's like, oh, I did this drug. What else is there? Yeah. You know, what other drugs we got to do? And which led me into like, you know, all of it. Started doing cocaine, you know, very young, ecstasy, you know, like when I was very young, and which kind of pushed me into the direction of opiates. Okay. You know, and then that's when I guess like this one love took place. You know, I remember I was at a friend's house and you know, they had some dope, they had some heroin, and I was like 14 years old, and he was like, you want to try some? I was like, sure, you know, and I tried it, and I remember I called my girl at the time. I was like, babe, you know, I got this stuff. It's so good. Makes you feel so good. And yeah, man, you know, just kind of like spiraled out of control and had like a 10-year run with opiates, you know, yeah, like went real deep, you know, eventually started, you know, doing the IV, you know, drug use with it, and in return, many of drugs, you know, shooting up like just straight mainline and all of it. You know what I mean? Like, which was a very how can I say it, like a dirty place, you know, a very all-time low. Like when you think of a junkie, you know, it was like the epitome, especially where I grew up in like DC, Baltimore, and stuff like that. It's like the capital of it, you know, like the slums of slums. Like even there's certain places in Baltimore, like from the 60s riots that still haven't even been rebuilt. Places where like cops don't even patrol, you know what I mean? So that was kind of like my stomping grounds where I used to spend a lot of time there. And, you know, so 2012 was when I realized I was the decisive element, you know, like because before that, I was praying, man, you know, I was like, man, I got to get out of this life. Like, you know, like just sick. Like I was sick and tired of being sick and tired. You know what I mean? Like couldn't do anything.
Sick and tired of being sick and tired. That's a real thing,
it's
bro.
It's a real thing, bro. Yeah. It's a real thing. And it was either, it's true shit, you know, and it was either death or life at that point. And in 2012, you know, it's just praying, please, something take me out of this life. And yeah, man, like my body started shutting down. I got so skinny because I just wasn't eating. I was throwing up, and I knew something wasn't right. And I was working for this company, and yeah, it was like to the point where I was throwing up so much. I'm throwing up blood. I'm pissing blood. I'm, you know, just going through it. And this one morning, and it was actually on 12/12/12.
Oh yeah,
yeah,
that's fucking dope.
Yeah, that was like my clean date, my day of savior, my birthday.
Hell
you know, and yeah, I went to the hospital. Told them, the doctor was like, oh, you know, everything looks good. I'm like, all right, dope, you know. Called the dope man, like, hey, I'll be there in 45 minutes. Went back into the hospital. Or the nurse said that, you know, like, oh, everything looks good, blah, blah, blah. So, you know, called the dope man, was like, all right, you know, I'll be there in 45 minutes. And, you know, was laying in the bed. And then the doctor came in, was like, man, you know, your liver enzymes are super high. You know, but it could just be hepatitis A, and it will go away, you know. And I rolled up my sleeves, and I was like, nah, doc, you know, I'm an IV drug user. And he was like, oh. He was like, then it's probably hepatitis C. And in that moment, you know, being uneducated, my whole life just like crashed in. I was just like, just crying, looking at myself in the mirror, just like, Danny, like, what the fuck? Like, what are you doing to yourself? You know what I mean? You're better than this. Like, tighten up. Like, is this what you want to be remembered as? You know, just like a junkie, like somebody, you know, like this is all you got.
Isn't it funny? And I don't want to say it's funny, but I guess what's the word? Isn't it interesting that even in those moments, there's something inside of us, like inside of you and me, because I felt that too, that like I can do better.
For sure.
Like there's that thing, even in your lowest moments, that's always like, this can't be it. This isn't all of me. This isn't. I think Jordan Peterson talks about that. Like we all feel that ultimate unlimited potential in us.
For sure.
You
and
know?
Sometimes it takes that lowest of the low to really bring it out, you
Yeah.
know, because that's, like they say, where's the best place to start building? In the bottom.
Exactly,
you know what I mean?
yeah.
Like the rock bottom is really the best place to build. And, you know, I've hit many of them, but that was like the realest.
That was the one.
That was the realest. That was the one that was like, nah, enough's enough. And, you know, a lot came with that. And, you know, so as soon as you know, and like in my mind, you know, I'm thinking, I'm like, well, shit, is this like AIDS? You know, like I'm uneducated,
right
you
now.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I'm just like, oh my God, like I can't have kids no more. Like can't have sex, you know, like my life's over. And, I was like, nah, man, there's got to be a way. There's got to be a way. And, you know, that moment I went back to the place that I was working. Luckily, I was saving money because, you know, the company I was working for, we was getting high together. He was pretty much supplying everything. I was selling it. So it's like I had money. And, you know, I bought, I checked myself into the Days Inn, you know, a hotel, and went to the library and just bought all the books that I could possibly get on like mind, body, soul, health,
Gotcha.
you know, regeneration, you know, and it was crazy because, you know, before that, it's an unhealthy life. You know, I'm eating McDonald's and gummies and ice cream and, you know what I mean? Like, that's like your diet, you know, you ain't eating, you know, you're not eating like you should. And so it's crazy, like even trying to like eat a banana, eat an apple, eat an orange, I'm like literally gagging trying to eat this stuff because my body's like rejecting it. It's foreign, you know, it's foreign to you. It's like, yo, what are you doing? And yeah, man. So, you know, just started kind of like rehabbing myself, got that hotel for like 2 months.
Damn.
You know, and just sat in there and just read and educated, kicked the drug like easily and effortlessly. Like it was time, it just fell off. You know, it was like, nah, you know, you spend enough time with it, you learned your lessons. And just started educating myself and, you know, started getting real big into like researching just what hepatitis C was and, you know, all these certain types of things. And, you know, the universe just unfolded for me to like, it was very unique. You know, I became an advocate for hepatitis C, started like talking to people just because the way my mindset was and, you know, enrolled myself and was like kind of like a mentor in that realm, you know, people going through the same thing that I was. And, you know, one of the high ups in there recommended there was this clinical trial that was happening where I was from, where, you know, it was this new drug coming out that, you know, the drug before that was this thing called, I think it was like ribavirin or something like that. That was like a 50% success rate, equivalent to chemo. You know, you're sick, you know, blah, blah, blah. And there was this new drug that was like a 99% success rate. And it was one pill. And like, you didn't get sick. And, you know, it was very competitive. As soon as I called, they answered. They was like, come in. So long story short, I believe it was a sugar pill. You know, that's the power of the placebo. You know what I mean? Like I just needed that little
permission.
Key. That permission slip. That permission slip. And yeah, you know, like within the first week, like my viral load dropped drastically. They're like, yo, we never seen anything like this. Like, what are you doing? And I'm just like, yo, I'm just eating healthy, got the healthy mind, got the healthy body. And, you know, started just doing more talking about, you know, everything that I was going through. And then, like 6 months later, I ended up getting paid like $5,000, you know, for doing the clinical trial. And throughout the process, it was in phase 3. So I ended up investing a large amount into this company.
Nice.
You know, because I knew as soon as it got passed by the FDA, it was about to blow up. You know, and so when I invested in this company, they was like $46 a share. invested a large sum of money into it, and you know, by the time I sold it, it was like 116.
Hell yeah, good for you, man.
Wow,
So
that's
I got
amazing.
Hell yeah. So you got some good shit right there.
I was gonna say that's almost like you just took the money they gave you and you were like, here you go,
Take it back, motherfuckers.
It's like, you guys
Let's get that
saved me.
double up real quick.
Yeah,
you know?
hell yeah.
And, you know, after that, hit the ground running again, you know, started getting back into that entrepreneurial side of stuff. Of course, like, you know, it wasn't all peaches and cream.
Yeah,
you know,
of course.
Like,
yeah.
there was a lot of trials and tribulations, even just with getting clean, trying to have a social life, relationships, you know, everything that came with that.
All the traumas and things that came out with different people, with different situations.
And within me.
Yeah,
you know
love,
what I
your
mean?
father things, all those things.
I mean, honestly, like, literally in that hotel room, I literally cried for days. You know what I mean?
There.
Days.
Yeah.
like I'm like, because all those drugs suppressed all these emotions. You know, because on those substances you become emotionless. You know, you have
just talking about that yesterday.
Yeah, you know, and so when I got clean, it was like feeling life again. It was like, what is all this? Fuck, you know. And yeah, it feels good to feel.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It feels good to feel. And, you know, that was back in 2012. And it's been a good little bit. You know, I think this is going to be my 9 years. This is going to be my 9 years. And yeah, you know, and then got brought out to Vegas and just started, you know, bridging gaps and building and creating, sitting down with people like yourself, just educate and talk and educate myself, you know, like thousands upon thousands of hours, just research and studies and mind, body, and, you know, dove into some plant medicines like, you know, the ayahuascas and the DMTs and, you know, certain types of things like that, just to bring in another altered state of consciousness, just to, you know, answer some questions. You know, did a lot of the inner work and yeah, you know, after I felt good in that, you know, jumped back into the entrepreneurial thing, gathered another group of friends, and we bought a wheatgrass company out here called Pete's Wheatgrass. You know, we had contracts with like Whole Foods, MGM, and, you know, all these places, you know, selling 500 to 1,000 trays of wheatgrass, you know, a week of like pure medicine, man, like pure medicine, like this wheatgrass thing. Like I didn't realize it. Like I'm like thinking like, well, wheatgrass, you know what I mean? But, you know, wheatgrass is very unique because, you know, the molecular structure of blood, hemoglobin, like the middle ion or element is iron, you know, and it's identical. Like the structure is identical to wheatgrass. The only difference is the middle ion or molecule, whatever you call it, is magnesium. So the middle one of hemoglobin blood is iron. The middle one of wheatgrass is magnesium. Yeah. And you know, like the testimonies of everything from curing acne and cancers and, you know, everything you could think of, it was like, oh, this is the real medicine. You know, this is the real medicine that we're selling. But, you know, once COVID came around, you know, we had to liquidate
everything shifted that.
We had to liquidate, which was another huge
lesson.
You know, a lot of money, a lot of time, a lot of energy, you know, but a lot of lessons were learned from it. You know, it was like my first legit company. You know what I mean? That we had. So a lot of expertise came from it, met super great people, super great connections. And, you know, like when COVID happened, I really sat back again and went inwards and was like, you know, what's important? You know, what's important to me? What's important to this world? And I thought water, food, and shelter, you know, in that order, and, you know, got another group of people together, this time a little bit different. And we started a water company out here in Vegas called Gaia's Gift, you know, where we take, you know, regular tap water, filter it through a device and deionization and UV light. So we pretty much take regular, you know, tap water, dead water, and break it down to its like bare form where it's zero. And, you know, like what we talked about, water is consciousness, water contains memory, water is energy. You know, so we break it down to its bare form and then remineralize it by, you know, running it through a mineral column where we add different types of gemstones, you know, like one of our waters called Clarity of Consciousness. And, you know, the mineral stack on that is diamonds and quartz crystal. So as this hungry water passes over, you know, we're pretty much recreating the hydrological cycle of Earth, you know. So as the water passes over these gemstones, it takes on that energy, and then we run it through a water vortexer. So when this water vortexes, you know, you have this water that's like kind of, you know, vortexing down, and it's H2O at that point. And so as this water is going through the vortex, the water is now encompassing in on itself to go through the vortex. So it's encapsulating those oxygen molecules. So now we turn H2O water into H3O2. So that's pretty much like when people say, oh, fruit contains water and vegetables contain water. They're not talking about H2O water. They're talking about H3O2. Which that's what our body needs. That's what our body feeds off of, you know. So we pretty much just take, you know, regular water and convert it into like pure love, you know.
I never heard of that before. I need to look that up because I didn't. I mean, it makes sense just from the way you described it with fruit and vegetables. But I've never heard that term before. So that's not.
It's about to be a thing. It's you know, and we're just kind of like expanding people's consciousness, because now people watch this and they're like, man, I want to learn more. And, you know, that's the goal, is just to get somebody else that knows a little bit more to do, you know, create a friendly competition.
One by one, man.
Create a friendly competition and come together and collaborate. That's what this has to be. We can do so much more together than separate.
Yeah, and we know water has effects, and we know water gets, because, I mean, we talked about that on Sunday a little bit. If you want to describe that experiment of, like, I think, well, Colette talked about it too on our last podcast, 2 podcasts ago, but how you speak to water, 2 different waters. There's a science experiment. You want to, what's that science experiment? You know what I'm talking about?
So Dr. Amato, he created he realized that water contained consciousness, and, you know, he would take water and, you know, put it in like a glass jar and sit it in a room, and people would speak certain energy to it. And, you know, like, say, for instance, we're saying all these loving things to the water, then he would take it and freeze it and then look under a microscope the structure of it, and it would be beautiful sacred snowflakes, you know, like so geometrically precise. It's like gorgeous, you know. And then they would say negative things, you know, I hate you, or, you know, you're bad, you're ugly, whatever. And it would be like blobs and, you know, no structure, no beautifulness to it. And, you know, there's another experiment that I feel like they should do in schools, you know, that is beautiful, and it's the rice consciousness experiment. It's a good way to see how powerful our thoughts are. They take 3 cups of cooked rice, you know, the 1 cup they put love on, the next cup they put hate, and the next cup they put nothing. And the cup that they say loving things to never gets moldy. You know, the one that they ignore and say hateful things to gets moldy within a week. You know, so that just shows the power of our thoughts projected. But most importantly, we are water. You know, we are. I mean, you know, people say whatever, but it's between 70 and 90%. Everyone says something different, but majority, we are water. So if that has that effect outwardly when we speak, the biggest thing is what we say to ourselves. You know, whatever we attach that I am to, you know, whatever we say I am, we become, you know. So we are that water, so we can change our molecular structure by speaking the way that we wish to speak to ourselves, and it becomes a reflection of how we speak to others, you know. And the more that we can adapt these certain types of mantras, or, you know, just become aware, it's not easy. Like, even just, you know, how Bruce Lipton says, like, you know, the way to, you know, regenerate and to, you know, recalibrate ourselves, you know, there's 3 ways. Is you know, one is through a traumatic event, you know, something similar that happens to me, where your wants become a must.
That's what happened to me.
Yeah. I can't wait to hear you know, your perspective, you know, your side.
You know. I guess have I ever talked about it too much? My brother passed out?
Yeah, like, I mean, kind of,
but never kind of gave
not
the
like
full
in depth
thing.
I guess.
Well, I guess there's no better time than now.
Well, I guess you're the one, you're asking it out of me. So yeah. Well, I mean, I guess in 2008, my brother died March 19th of 2008. Before then, just living that Vegas life, man. You know, I fucking graduated from Silverado High School in the south side of town. Been in Vegas since I was 7. Growing up, his real dad was gone. Stepdad was in there taking over. But mom and dad, or my mom and my stepdad, I just call him my dad because he's going to raise me. they were getting divorced. My brother and me are my only real biological brothers, one that passed away. I guess my full blood, let me say that. But my brothers and sisters, I love them. I've been with them forever. They're all my brothers and sisters. But just saying that, like, we had different dads. And so my dad was not there. And I know that really, I didn't know the magnitude of how that affected me. Sure. But it did. And it did affect my brother. And I think that started really exposing itself when my stepdad and my mom got divorced. My brother took it really hard. He did not really like what was going on. And I guess just realizing that we were in pain, just that's the fundamental. We were not really too good. And no one was really talking about it with us about, you know, going through the daddy issues, even though another man came up and stepped up. Shout out all to the stepdads that come up and do the work of other men not fucking showing up, because that's my dad, you know, and he's there now to this day. So it's just like, that's a big, any man who steps up and take a father and another kid, like, we got to praise that man, because that is a conscious choice, man. And same thing for women, right? Anyone parenting another person's kid, hey, shout out to you, you know, in the work that you're doing. But have those conversations with those kids, because they know that you're not not say real, but biological person. And there's always an internal thing with, you want to know your biological people, typically your father, your mother, your family. So that was like a fundamental basis of what was going on, I think. And then living in Vegas, man, just fucking enjoying that Vegas life, going out, partying. We had a party crew, you know, fucking, we were hanging out with these different crews and we were just party. And I guess it wasn't gangs, but it was like, they were kind of some of these dudes were making it into that thing, you know, but I was always about like, let's party, have fun. Like, I'm here to fucking enjoy myself. I'm not with that shit. Like, I'm not with it. But got caught into a little bit of, my brother got caught into, we got in a little, you know, smoking some weed, some ecstasy. And long story short, got caught into, I was just flipping money, man, making money, doing a little what I could do to make some money, living that crazy life. I was working at a job, making money from there, plus, you know, doing some other things. And, my brother hits me up one day and it's just like, hey, bro, like, you cool if we come over to the apartment? I had my own place at the time, and my own apartment on freaking Sahara in Arville. And my brother hits me up on a Monday. I think it was a Monday. Monday, saying, hey, bro, you want to do some ecstasy tomorrow at your place? And I was like, no, I got to work. So it's like, can't get involved, but you guys can come over and do whatever you want. Long story short, he takes a pill, and it's crazy things that I learned in this thing. So he takes a pill of ecstasy, right? And an hour and a half later, we're talking. He's like, bro, I don't really feel anything. I'm like, dog, just wait. Like, just wait. He wanted to take another pill. I was like, nah, just chill, right? Well, 30 minutes later, he comes out the room and he's all fucking happy and fucking da la la. I'm like, this motherfucker took another pill. Like, sure enough, he did, man. Like, he took another pill. Then the night was going. An hour and a half later, he starts fucking telling me something's wrong. 2 hours, like, he's fucking tripping. He's having he's hot flashing. My brother wasn't really a dude that wanted to get naked in front of the other dudes, man. So it's just like, he got naked in front of me. He's like, I need to get in the shower. We were walking outside in the cold. Like, it was just like, he could tell something was going on. And I just fucking was like, hey, bro, let's just chill, happen out. I never did the education part. I was doing something that I have no idea what should have been happening if I experienced these things. So I just put him to bed, bro. I fucking put him to bed. I'm like, bro, just chill. He was chilling. He went to bed. Little did I know he wouldn't wake up.
Wow.
Right? But it was like, for me, it wasn't just that he wouldn't wake up, man. So the backstory, like, he was really having a hard time. There was moments where we would drink and shit, and we would be with friends, and he would be fucking he would just get in his feelings, man. And you could just tell his whole he was just so hurt, bro.
Wow. And
there was nights where I remember driving home on like 215 in Flamingo, and like, he wanted to jump out the car, dog. Wow. And I had to pull over. I had to pull over off the freeway, and he like got out the car. I'm like, what the fuck, bro? Like, what the fuck is going on, man? Like, why is this going on? And he would just like tell me he don't want to be here no more.
Wow.
He doesn't want to be here no more. He's tired. And then I remember hugging him from the back, like, fuck you, though, bro. Like, what about me, dog? You gonna leave me? Like, I've been here with you the whole time, like, crying together in our room because Dad's not God. Crying in the room, damn, I'm over here tripping right now. You're bringing the shit out of me.
Nah,
dog.
keep going, bro.
Like-
Yeah. It's real. It's real.
Welcome
Yeah,
to Danny. It's Danny's doing the interview.
Yeah, dog. Danny's getting me in my shit right now, man.
Hey, this is your fam you're speaking to.
I know,
too,
bro. But this, I mean, yeah,
it's real. It's real.
It's real, bro. But then this is the shit. This is what like started the journey for me, dog. Like this is what really started the journey
Wow.
for me. Like witnessing my brother being so hurt, you know what I'm saying, and like not knowing what to do. You know, like I don't know what to do with what's happening besides tell you that I love you and I want you to be here with me. Like, don't leave, dog. Like, I don't want you to leave. And it was very like not conscious. It was, I guess it was, I didn't know, it was more selfish. Like, bro, I love you. Like, be here with me, dog. It's me and you. Like, you know, he was only a year and a half apart. So it was like, I love this dude. We were our bros. So I don't want you to go nowhere. Stay here with me.
Were you older?
Yeah, I'm a year and a half older. You know, what's funny is his birthday's actually Friday.
Wow.
April 30th. He would have been 32. But that day I remember, so what happened was, man, like I calmed him down. We were chilling. Honestly, I didn't calm down. I think it was just his own thing. He was just like, he accepted some shit, dude. Cause we went to my mom's house and I dropped him off and I was like, bro, like if you keep drinking like this and getting this path, like we can't chill, dog. Like I don't want to babysit you in the sense that you're not getting your own shit together. Like, come on, dog. Like, you need to get it together. And I think he just saw me growing, man. And he was just in his own little turbulence, right? He saw me fucking, I joined the military. I had a girlfriend. I got my first apartment. You know, like I was doing my things. And he couldn't, you know, he's the reason why I joined the military because he wanted to. But he didn't pass the ASVAB. It's just like shit wasn't working for him. And then on top of the other feelings, and then he's watching me. But that day he comes into my mom's house and he's just like fucking telling her he don't want to be here, the same shit. And he was just like, I guess what happened from what they were told me is that, he's tripping out, crying. And he's just like, they're hurting him. My sister and my mom are there and they just put hands on him and like pray for him for a second. And he's just like, whatever they said. And then all of a sudden, like my mom has this like very unique memory of him just sitting up and looking her in the eyes and said, everything's going to be okay, Mom. And went to bed.
Whoa.
And then the months to come afterwards, whenever that happened, it's like me and my friends would all of a sudden start being like, bro, what's up with Greg, dog? Like, this feels changing. Like, you could tell he was more loving. He would, like, do these different things. And the way his just persona was changing, man, on how he exerted love to other people.
Wow.
And I have this, like, one specific moment where, I mean, I always get like, kind of like, I don't want to say shame. I guess, yeah, let's just call it what it is. Be shaming myself sometimes. Because I have this, I'm sitting on my couch in my apartment. He walks up to me and he puts an arm over my head. Like, he comes up to, he's just like, bro, I just want to tell you that I love you, dog. And like, I wish I would have like stood up and like now how I hug my people, like, you know, I fucking hug them, you know? And it's like, I wish I stood up and hugged him in that moment to like collect that love. I didn't know how to receive love yet. You know, I didn't know. And that goes into a lot of shit. It's like men, there's issues if dads aren't around. That's why there's so many daddy issues, people in jail, fatherhood. Like, men need to show the fuck up, because how do men know how to receive love for other men if their first man that they love doesn't show them love?
Truth.
You know what I'm saying? So where are the fathers at? The fathers got to show love to the kids no matter what, because that is ingrained to them how they get love from other men and from women. So I didn't know how to do that. And it's just always this thing that I wish I would have grabbed him, but I can close my eyes and like I can see him walking up to me, hugging me, putting his hand over my shoulder. So back to the story, like all that was happening, he was changing. And then that day I put him to sleep. And I mean, I put him to sleep because I was like leading him to sleep. Right. And it was crazy. That was a crazy experience, bro.
For sure.
Because I put him to sleep.
Yeah, laid him to rest, kind of.
Yeah, but the thing was, like, he wasn't, I guess from now looking back, he didn't know what he wanted to do. Because there was times in the middle of the night, bro, where he would, like, wake up but not open his eyes and, like, blabber all around, like, and roll around my fucking, my floor, bro. Wow. In the living room, and then he'd go back to sleep, and then he would roll around and then go back to sleep. And I don't know how long that fucking process went out.
Wow.
You know, But it was long. And then after a while, some shit, and then that's where the shit happened, where his girlfriend at the time, I was in the room and she fucking screams to me and tells me, Ronnie, come fucking over here. And I go over there, and bro, like, all of a sudden he's fucking airing for breath, blood's coming out of his mouth. I started doing CPR on him, tasted his blood, like blowing in, pumping his chest, feeding him back up. I remember one specific moment where I put air in, he goes, like he grasped for breath that I brought him back. Like, and then, but it just got worse, man. And the body started shutting down. Right. So he let his shit out, you know, the body started shutting down. Wow. A little bit of blood out of his eyes, a little bit of blood out of his mouth. And then the ambulance was coming, and I remember like time slowing down, like time slows down. And I don't want to say it slows down. It's I'm fucking present. That's what present looks like. For sure. Is that when things are like moving. I was like, these motherfuckers are not moving fast enough. Get your ass in this house. And then they got him. Started doing a little work, and being in the military, I can see what was kind of going on. And I had like a glimpse of like what would happen. All right, he's going to be cool. We're going to see, I'm going to visit this dude in the hospital and see him. Nah, he didn't even, I had the hospital was down the street, bro. IMCU on Charleston's down the street. He didn't even make it there. Wow. I had homies, James, shout out to homie. I forgot, bro. I even had, you know, the thing with trauma too is like, we don't, and talking about it on the last podcast about repression, right? And subconscious, like what you talked about, we suppress and our emotions, and we don't know that are there. I suppressed memories. I thought there was only me and his girlfriend there, but there were other people there. And I didn't remember that at all for years, bro, until other people started telling me that. And we start going. I bring that up because as we go to the hospital down the street, I'm in the car with my mom, my uncle, my sister, and his girlfriend. Shout out to her, Lisa. And my mom gets a phone call, hearing my stepdad crying, and my mom's like, fuck, something's wrong if he's crying. But they don't know. I guess come to find out, my uncle already knew that it was gone, that he was gone. But what was unique to me is that I remember walking in like a duck line, and I'm in the last person walking up. My uncle stops, lets the women go in, turns around, tells me that they're done, like he's gone. And I'm like, fuck, right? In my memory, bro, I remember just snapping my fingers and turning around and walking away. Years later, I tell my uncle that, and he goes, fuck, you did. He said, as soon as I told you he was done, you fucking swung at me. And we were like, you were swinging at me, and I had to grab you and hold you until you relaxed, and then you snapped your finger and walk away. You know, and those a lot of moments happened. A lot of things came up, man. Like, you know, it had to call friends and tell them how to tell. Like, it was just like that whole day was fucking crazy, man. You know, and then I don't know what everyone believes in. It's just kind of mystery. But I had this like 7-year-old girl, man, my 7-year-old cousin at the time, saying that she talked to my brother and Greg, man. My brother and Greg. She described the apartment and what was going on, what happened, and like her, you know, this is where it gets that woo woo. Like, I don't know, but how do you describing what's happening? For sure. Like, and she said what was happening is that he was like, when he was sleeping. That's crazy. I'm putting this out there like that.
This is a healing session. This is a healing session.
I was going to say, by the way, I've never heard this full story either. So, you know, I'm not over here like, oh, yeah, I know what happens next. Yeah. I'm like, I have no idea.
Everyone, the suspense is real.
Yeah, you know, this is some shit. And what happened, supposedly what's happened is that my brother would fall asleep and he would like go up into the universe and be gone. But then he would like, oh, shit, I'm not ready, and then come back. He couldn't decide. So that when he would wake up but couldn't open his eyes and he would mumble, that was him like trying to fucking stay here. Whoa. You know? But then he would fall asleep back and fucking go back up. And after tired, I guess he started getting tired, and that's where like God, spirit, whatever you want to talk to, and say, hey, come with me and you'll be with everybody. You know? And then fucking, and like I said, call it what you is, I don't know, you know, but there's some weird shit that be happening. And then literally, and then that's when he decided to go. And it's just kind of like for me with all the backstory about my mom telling this, like all the pain, and that day where she was like, he got up and was like, all right, like it's all good. So it's just like he served his purpose. He served his time. He's ready to go. And, you know, I got to say, I take it what it is, but like, I'm here. I've always wanted to do something like this with talking to people, getting out, motivate people. I want to be a preacher at one moment younger. I want to do, and it's like, and what I've realized, I'm not trying to preach nobody but myself.
For sure.
Right.
For sure.
But I recognize the reflections in everybody because we all one. We all go through this pretty much the same shit. Just flavor it, color it a little differently, you know? But it was really an experience. And after that, dude, it was just like years of trial and tribulations, man. Because literally going through that, I found out that I didn't know I was a runner. I left for military training for 2 weeks. 2 weeks after we buried my brother, I'm going. I got to go away. I didn't want to be a leader in the family. I didn't want to be looked at. I didn't want to be fucking. And what I was really doing, just running away from my feelings. I'd be in the middle of the desert, bro, in California, in a Humvee, fucking crying, dog. Wow. While we're warplaying, you know. And then found out we're having my son. And then a year later, so it's crazy. My brother died on the Wednesday before Easter, and my son was born on the Wednesday before Easter. And then 10 days after he was born, I left to Afghanistan. Wow. I left for a deployment. So, and then I went to deployment, did all the army shit, became a soldier, had to come back, learn to hey, man, I have a wife, a mother, and I'm a father now. I went from learning to just really being my own with one lady to having a baby, and then like not that transition. And then coming home was really a shake for me, you know. Being at war, seeing that different world, it took me a little bit of time to get home. I don't feel like I never really got PTSD from my brother. From Afghanistan so much, but is like my whole life right there really just changed everything, witnessing my brother die. And I think PTSD for me is just kind of like the gravitation of what life is. Like, I can't turn this shit off, you know, and then being a soldier and, you know, doing security and all the stuff that I was doing on, you know, over there. It's just kind of like, okay, so real life. I'm being taught what real life is right now. Life and death and survival and family and the tribe and the crew. And then come back home and death was still all around me, man. No, none of my buddies died when I went to Afghanistan, but like just off the top of my head, two buddies died, 3 buddies died. My lady's grandpa died, and all in different ways, man, and different. It's just like, fuck. So much pain or non-education. Then my goddamn dog died, you know, like just from trying to get him snipped. He died from getting the anesthesia, like the 1% of dogs that are allergic to anesthesia. My dog had to be it. Wow. You know, and so I went through a years of death. Wow. Of just like, death is real. It's fucking here. And while all that is happening, I'm like on an exploration. What is going on? I used to be really Christian. I was like all into that shit. And now I just see it as more mythology teachings and their lessons. But the exploration of self really took off in that moment. What is the fucking truth? What is happening? What is this place really about? And who the fuck am I in this river of,
amen, bro,
you know?
Amen.
And it's taken me, I mean, my brother is literally, his birthday's in 2 days.
Happy birthday.
Yeah, shout out to Greg. His life is a testimony of who I am now, man.
Yeah, he taught you a lot,
you know, and it's really just propelled me to speak the truth now, no matter what, even if I'm scared.
Thank you.
You know, I went through years of like fighting myself, man, and
we all do.
Yeah, right. That over years figuring out, but I was in the squeeze because I just like you. I was reading books, listening to podcasts, going to classes, fucking going to retreats, doing, military different trainings and everything. I would like, okay, I see what you did, but how does it apply to life? How does this apply to myself? How does this apply, everything's an internal represents in the external. So it's all the same shit, but it happens at different levels and all these different things. And then COVID really help me, man. For sure. Like, yeah, it
was a blessing.
It's a blessing. It shook the fuck out of me. It's like, I can't be here. I don't like this shit. This fucking, are we speaking truth? Are we not speaking truth? What the fuck is happening? And then like, no more. I'm ready to fucking take on this shit. You know, I've mastered other things. I've mastered this. One day I want to be out of the military, but I don't want to work for nobody else. I don't want to fucking I want to create my own shit. You know, I've been in the military since I was 18. I don't want to shelter my thoughts or expression in words at any level.
Beautiful.
Anything. So then it's all right, so how do I start now? So then home life is turned into a better, you know, you can't do anything if your room's dirty, bro. How can you help anybody else if your shit's not good? How can you help any family if your family's not good? You know, bringing it in. Yeah. You know, so it's just like it all come full circle for me now. So now it's like, yeah, hey, I am an amateur at this shit, this podcast shit. Mm-hmm. But I'm going to fucking master it. And I'm going to figure it out little by little, man. So then the belief system is and all that, man. So I appreciate you bringing that out of me, man.
Oh, man, thank you.
I appreciate you asking those questions, man.
That. Like that. So much got brought out of me with those shares. Yeah. Like, you know, and that's one thing I wanted to get better at is listening. Like as you talk or as anybody talks, you know, we're constantly trying to formulate questions or thoughts. And sometimes I got to get that out and just be fully engaged with the presence. And man, but there was so much. And you know, we go back to, you know, first off, thank you, you know, thank you for sharing that.
You're welcome.
And it's key to be vulnerable. You know, it's key to be vulnerable. It's key to shed those tears. We're just watering the soul, you know. And as we were taught when we were young, you know, especially as young men, young boys, you know, not to cry and to be strong and, you know, all these things that we were taught. And from 0 to 7, you know, that's when we're a sponge. You know, what happens to us at that age from 0 to 7, you know, somebody said, you know, you show the father that taught from 0 to 7, I'll show you the man that he becomes, you know, which is a very true thing. But, you know, to go back to death, it's like once we can become familiar with death and die already while we're alive, we can truly live, you know, because that's the only thing we can't escape. You know, we can't escape. And, you know, I like to think we're born every day. You know, as soon as we lift our head off that pillow,
every breath I'm renewed, right?
Nah, it's truth.
Yeah,
it's truth.
Yeah,
you
man.
know, and you know, I lived a very similar story, and you know, being the older brother, you know, my brother, he was the older brother, and I went through a very similar thing, like your younger brother, you know, where you know, I was just reflecting the life that surrounded me, you know, and I was very confused in some essence, you know, because there was a lot of pain, a lot of hurt, a lot of drama and toxic and this and that, you know, being so young, like, why me? Like, what did I do? You know, because when you see that, you know, you feel like it's your fault. Like, even like when my father passed, you know, like he'd be the day before, the night before, the morning when he passed, he came into our room because I was like scared, and I slept in my brother's room, you know, and he came into the room and he was like, you know, forget about me, go on with your life, blah, blah, blah. And then like 30 minutes later, we heard the gunshot. Boom. You know what I mean? And it was like a whole situation, you know, and my brother like kicked down the door and he, you know, shot himself in the bathtub, and, you know, which spiraled into a lot of trauma, you know, you know, you talk about PTSD and these certain types of things, and it was real, you know, brought out a lot of aggression, a lot of emotion, a lot, you know, and certain people that are around me, like, you know, like my mom, she remarried like quick, you know, to, you know, my stepdad, he ended up passing as well, but he didn't step up. If anything, he made the situation a little worse, you know what I mean? But he taught, it was all lessons. It was all lessons and blessings. I'm grateful for everything that was taught and everything, you know, everything that was made. But shortly after, when I was 13, you know, I wanted out. You know, I wanted out of this life, you know, and even the same thing with my heroin addiction. I mean, there was times I would do so many substances and wake up the next morning like, yo, what's up? Like, what do I got to do to get out of here? You know, and I remember this one night in particular, you know, I ate over like 300 pills.
Fuck.
You know, like, because at that time I was a guinea pig for the pharmaceutical industry. Okay. You know, I was prescribed Lexapro, Zoloft, freaking Wellbutrin, Trazodone, Seroquel, you know, Ambien, like you name it, like they was just pumping me full of stuff, you know. So I had all these prescription pills, and I was with my homie Bud. He ended up passing away too. And you know, I just started eating pills, chugging them with a 40. I was in like 8th grade, and I went into my brother's room and said the same exact thing my dad said to him. Like,
of course he did,
you know, I was like, man, forget about me, go on with your life. And he's just like, what? Like, fuck you.
Same
thing with you. You ain't going out. You know, we're in this together. And, you know, that's the last I remember. I collapsed, and, you know, it was crazy. We had this, like, stuff called, like, Epicap syrup. It's, like, the syrup that they used to give you when you know, back in the day that would, like, induce vomiting. And
That's like that Family Guy episode.
Really?
Yeah, there's a Family Guy thing where they're like, all right, we got a bottle of Epicac. Like, the last one to throw up gets the last piece of apple pie in the kitchen or something. And then they just, like, throw up everywhere.
It was real. It was real. You know, he took me downstairs and forced the whole bottle down my throat, you know, and I remember I woke up to my alarm going off, and I look on my ground, and there's just foam everywhere from all the pills, and I'm just like, how am I still alive?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then my brother opened the door like, what the fuck is your problem? You know?
Damn. Shout out to Big Brother.
Hey,
right
shout out
there.
to Big Brother, man. We've been through some things, man. We've been through some things. You know, he spent 5 years in the penitentiary. You know, we did some things, and, you know, he took the rap for it, and, you know, just always been that rock.
Yeah.
You know, always been that rock. And, you know, to bring up the military background, it's like, man, like, you know, we have this, like, joke where it's like, man, I can't really trust people that's never been in the military or never done time. You know, because it builds character. You know what I mean? To really be out there, and to with the brotherhood, and to, you know, when you're in the war zone, when you're in the battlefield, you know, it builds character. So, you know, it's real, and now is more of a time than ever. You know, like these lessons and blessings that you've been taught on your journey. The same thing with, you know, how you can play back that moment where, you know, your brother gave you that hug, and, you know, how you regret it, but now it's like not to regret it, but just to embrace more. You know, just to embrace more, and the thing with the running as well. You know, we all do it. We don't. You know, it's tough to deal with emotions, but the more that we can sit and go within, man, like this external thing, it's super cool. Like, I love it, but when we can do that inward reflection, where we can really go within, and in some essence, like, reconfigure our mental strategies, you know, like going back to, like, Bruce Lipton, he said the only way that we can, like, we really heal is through, like, traumatic events, hypnosis, and repetitive notion, you know. So hypnosis, like, as we're going to sleep and as we're waking up, we're in a theta state of healing. Just like from, like, 0 to 7, we're in a theta state of healing. We're just like the tape recorder. We're just the sponge. So, you know, before going to sleep and as you're waking up, like, playing those positive I am affirmations and, like, you know, those frequencies to really get in and reconfigure your cellular memory, you know, because those memories stay with us. You know, that's not like they go anywhere, but what makes it easier is how to deal with them. You know, and having that support system where we can talk about this kind of stuff freely. That's why these podcasts and what you do is so great and so powerful, and that's what kind of, like, led you into this, because it's therapy. It's therapy for everyone that watches it. It's therapy that everyone that comes to this table, you know, and what you do and sharing your story, it gives so many other people permission to share their story. That's what makes this thing so beautiful, is our stories. If we didn't have our stories and we didn't have the trials and tribulations, it would be pretty boring, because we could already look at the next man and already know who they are, you know. But to look at them and, you know we all are one, but hey, you got a story, you know, you got a background, and to be open to hear it, and just to have that exchange, because the more that we do that, the more that we learn, and the more that we learn about ourselves, you know, because even after this moment, even after this podcast, like, I even know for me, digesting all that, like, man, like that, it's real, because everything that you said just brought so much. So like that whole thing that I just shared with you, I wouldn't have shared that if you didn't have that share. You know, so the more that we can share with each other, the more that we can have more deeper conversations and know, like, how to move forward to the next evolution of ourselves. You know, because even me looking back on myself a year ago, 10 days ago, 10 years ago, it's like our consciousness changes so rapidly, but when we wake up in the morning, we choose to put on the same clothes, throw that same bag that we've been carrying for God knows how long. You know what I mean? When just like the ancestors that a lot of these people call in, you know, like these great what do you want to call them? Like Jesuses and the Buddhas and these, all of it.
All the masters.
All the masters, it's like, when can we let them rest? To a certain degree, but we always want to call them back into the present moment when we have the potential to connect to the infinite, to connect to source. Like, if anything, I've always been one to go straight to source. Like, to be real, like, that's what brought me out here was, I was in the black market side of stuff, doing the same thing, flipping money, doing all that on the East Coast. And I was like, man, I gotta go to the source, so we put these things in between us.
We think we need something in between. We think we need a connector. You are the connector.
You are that.
Yeah.
And it really is just finding those, great ways of connecting, sometimes getting out of certain environments that you're in. Like, I was talking earlier is, even when I left America, I've been, like, addiction wise, like, all my addictions super good, super clean. But one thing is tobacco. You know what I mean? I have this thing with tobacco, and I don't necessarily utilize it in the plant that it is. It's a grandfather energy that, if used properly, it's great medicine. But in some essence, it's borderline an addiction. I wake up in the morning and I want it. You know what I mean? It's not like I'm using it for ceremony. It's borderline an addiction. And but as soon as I left the States, got out of the environment, it was gone. You know what I mean? But as soon as I get back to the States, it was back again. It was like, man, what just happened? I did so good.
Is so important, man.
Your environment is everything. Your environment is everything. And so, and the that saying, you take your 5 closest reflections, I'll show you who you are.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So really surrounding yourself with those right people. And that's why I feel like at one time I was such a loner, because I didn't identify with the people I was surrounded with. You know what I mean? Like, I've always submersed myself in different cultures and groups and gathered information and found those diamonds in the rough.
Yeah.
But then it was like, when I really look back and identified, I'm like, man, I'm not like these people. You know what I mean? Like, and I am. We all are one. Yeah. But I've always had that calling for more. Like you said, like the whole working for someone else, and now, like, we are in the golden age. Of like pure abundance. Like there's this stream of wealth that just flows, and it's up to us to. Do we go there with a teaspoon? Do we go there with a cup? Do we go there with a barrel? How do we go to this stream of abundance, to get what we feel is right? Some say the money is the root of all evil, but I think it's the people.
It's not the money. It's a resource. It's just like, one thing I thought about when businesses and the whole like tax things that's going on. We have to look at it like, that's why I love studying nature, because I feel like we have to be like nature. And the circle of life, right? Like, a business is meant to, in my perspective, is to assist humans on this journey we call Earth. For sure. Of being here, right? It's the only reason why they exist, is to assist in some way, right? Now, when I hear about businesses or like CEOs making so much money over their employees, it's like, okay, kudos, you did it. Like, you made a lot of money, you got it. Now, how are you really flowing and giving back to the roots or the soil that established your tree? You're at the top of the tree with all the leaves, and you got the most things you're going. But is the circle of life actually happening in a I don't know what term to use, but in the most, like, does the giving match the receiving?
For sure. Like a symbiotic.
It's a symbiotic relationship. But if you're making 100% and you're only, I don't know, it's a specific number, but like if you're receiving abundant, let's just make it easy, a ton, right? And you're giving back a pound, you're not giving what you're receiving. It's not a balance. So no wonder why there's turmoil. No wonder why there's a tension. The earth requires a balance to flow. The giving and receiving needs to be mutual, or at least energetically mutual. For sure. We need to feel like, I feel good with this thing. There's a flow of giving into receiving, and I think that goes under. It's not, people are not. I think the thing back to education, when you think of Jesus, they don't know what they do. Father God, forgive them, for they do not know what they do.
Amen.
But now it's time to get educated. you have to take care of the soil to take care of the plants. I saw a little quote and bringing it in perfectly to take care of us.
For sure.
The same thing with all animals. And you can think about that system and bring it to a business.
Yeah.
The product of the people on top, the visionaries, the ones who making it, boom, cool. But the ones on the production line, the ones doing the time clamp, the ones doing all like it's a cycle that needs to be fed. Every part of it needs to be fed and fed correctly for like what they're really worth or what real value is being brought. So it consistently keeps happening. If that doesn't keep happening, somewhere some disease is going to form and then it's going to rot the whole tree or the whole business. So it needs to be some type of mutual, energetic, and real, useful receiving and giving where it's a win-win.
For sure.
It's not, this is a great fucking business because I take 85%, they only take 15. You think that motherfucker don't feel like he's getting shot out of this thing? And you know, I think as human beings, they know, just like at your deepest moment, in my deepest moment, we as humans, we feel I can do better. There's something in us that gives us that. We all have this like certain morale thing in us. Once you get off the pain, get all the fucking scrape off the pain and all the fucking bullshit that's there, you have a feeling, you know, if you're taking advantage of a system or not. And I think people need to, I don't want to project. I'm reminding myself of that I need to be in accordance with that thing. And I think it's important that people need to educate themselves. And like, this is how the world works. The world is about balance. That's why we have 4 seasons. That's why we have, you know, the tree dies and it grows and the plants die. That's why there's levels to everything. Insects that die, you know, all the shit. Watch nature.
That simple thing. It's that simple.
You'll learn so much if you watch nature.
This thing is so simple. This thing is so simple. It's complicated.
Yeah.
You know, if we realized how simple it was, and that was a great analogy, you know, the symbiotic relationship. And the same thing, like, you know, we started the Garden of Divinity. We started this nonprofit, me and my lady, future wife, love, you know, we started this nonprofit called the Garden of Divinity, which is exactly what you're speaking.
Yeah.
You know, is exactly what you're speaking. And it got birthed, you know, through the coronavirus thing that happened, which, you know, when you really break it down, the corona, the crown, you know, the emerging, the crowning, when you give birth, the crowning, you know, that's what's happening right now is the rebirth, you know, the rebirth of us all. And it woke a lot of people up, you know, even though sometimes it might seem like it was a little hectic or chaotic, it was because they didn't want to see what was needed to be shown, you know, and you know, the ones that did the work, it was a little bit not necessarily easier, but at least it was a breath of fresh air. It was like, oh, okay, I can breathe now. And, you know, you even seen nature restore itself, you know, from the lack of movement.
So quick too.
Yeah. Quick.
Right. Cali, like
nature's already, you know, like that's the thing. It's good without us. You know, we need it doesn't need us.
Exactly.
You know, that's like the crazy thing about it. And the more that we can find that harmonious symbiotic relationship with it, the more that we can work with it and have that value for value exchange, you know. And that's where the difference between like what we're happening right now, like the same thing that, you know, when I spoke earlier, as far as like, you know, what's important, water, food, and shelter in that order. You know, so the Garden of Divinity kind of brings that, you know, full circle where it's like, you know, we work with different nonprofits, you know, shout out to Ancestral Medicine Revival, you know, they're a great one that, you know, we've been working with. And, you know, we got a huge collaboration connection with, you know, cleaning up waterways as well. You know, there's a lot of issues with privatizing water and the whole bottling industry and, you know, polluted waterways and things like that. We work with a wide range of group of people that clean the waterways and different things like that. But even the agriculture, you know, like at one time, you know, this agriculture is like deforesting so many lands because of the annual crops. You know, we're planting these things that are annual that we just take it out of the soil and then leave the soil open for, you know, deforestation and things like that, rather than, you know, adapting some sort of way, like more in the sense of permaculture, you know, permanent agriculture, where it's like regenerative and restoring and working with nature, not against it, you know. So, you know, what the Garden of Divinity's mission statement is to develop a more symbiotic, harmonious relationship with nature and its inhabitants, and doing that by, you know, and this is something that's been in the works for a while, but it just took the right catalyst to believe.
Yeah.
You know, that's why your support system's key.
Yes.
You know, that's why your support system's key. And you know, me and my lady, it's like, you know, when we met, it was just, you know, I'll share this quick little story just to share the serendipity aspects of the way this universe works. And, you know, I was like asking the universe for something real, you know, I was like, man, I'm tired of all these like little, just like meaningless relationships kind of thing. Like I'm ready for something real and I need to know like if it is real. So I'm at this event and I go up to this beautiful lady and I'm like, you know, what's your name? She said, you're Danny. And I was like, yeah, I'm Danny, but what's your name? She was like, no, my name is You're Danny. And I was like, huh, you're my Danny? And, you know, come to find out her name was actually You're Danny. You know?
Yeah.
So after that moment, I was
That's
like,
really
dope.
funny.
That's crazy. Where's she from?
That's really funny.
Colombia.
Oh, okay.
Colombia.
You're Danny.
Yeah.
You're Danny.
You're Danny. You know?
Yeah.
So, you know, as soon as it
So
was so divine. So even like when we met, it was like, you know, I feel like we were able to condense like a couple year relationship into like 6 months. Like it was just like no cut card, like all the awkward conversations, all the uneasiness, just throw it all on the table. This is me. This is what I carry. You know, these are my baggages. This is my closet. Check it out.
Yeah.
And it was great, you know, and then, you know, planted a couple seeds and, you know, you have those right connections, you have those right people that believe in you and, you know, you make magic happen. And, you know, that's when the Garden of Divinity actually took full swing. We went to Colombia to visit her family, did some work out there, and then got called to Barbados, where we sat in Barbados and was just able to think more clearly, you know, was able to like really tap in with source and, you know, just build this thing. I mean, even like the website that I built for it, never built a website in my life. I'm not computer, I'm not a technology kind of guy, and was able to just like build this beautiful website and do all these things. And it was like, I feel like, cause it was just more cleaner, you know, like you didn't have all the static here in the States and the cell phones and all that. So, you know, teaming up with a bunch of great people to regenerate soil, you know, that's really where we go back to, you know, is the soil. If we do not start in some essence, like focusing on these certain aspects, you know, we won't have any of these things, you know, to really like look forward to, because I mean, even when you really break it down, like a cup of spinach 10 years ago, you would need 5 cups of spinach now to like match that density of like nutrition, you know, and there's so many ways to like go about it where it's like we don't have to use synthetic nutrients, we don't have to use pesticides, chemicals, these certain types of things. We forgot the natural you know, relationship with nature, you know, and that's really what we do is go to these certain countries. You know, unfortunately it's not so many places in America because, you know, America is not really necessarily open to receive what we're willing to give, but you know, these certain types of things and aren't easy to do. Even us just going to Colombia and Barbados and build these connections, like and all these other places that we're going to, it wasn't cheap. You know what I mean? It's not cheap to stay, and you know, and that's why we started this nonprofit and actually vowed to be like completely transparent about everything. You know, I'm not in it to make money. You know, I know the money flows. You know, the more that the value for value exchange, the more that we help out, the more that, you know, we will receive.
We'll be taken care of.
For sure. For sure. But you know, it's not cheap to do these things. That's why we started this nonprofit and vowed to be transparent. So all the money that is donated, the ones that donate can see like exactly what we're doing, you know, and then if they choose to donate to a certain project, we have it set up where it's like we can give them like certain, like a video camera or something like that, so they can see the progression of the land that their money actually went to, you know, because that's really dope. What it's about is like planting the seeds, you know, so people, because once we can see that it can be done, man, it opens up so much room in the imagination. Everything's impossible until it's possible, you know, until it gets done. I mean, even the same thing with the mile. Oh, you can't run a mile in X amount of time. Someone did it, then 20 other people did it. You know, so. I've
talked about it a couple times on the podcast. We're so quick to, you know, our imagination always goes to like what ifs and the negatives that happen. Let's use our imagination for the fucking positives too. What if this shit blows the fuck up? What if these things work? What if all this soil does this? Just like, let's stay focused on that what are we holding on to?
And that breaks back to the conscious and the subconscious minds.
Yep.
You know, the conscious mind
In the
is,
morning, and
the
the evening, like you talked about
all
earlier.
of it.
Yep.
You know, like the conscious mind is in some essence the wishes and the desires and all these things, but the subconscious mind is the tape recorder that has been played, you know, that comes back to the traumas and, you know, these certain types of things. That's, you know, the autopilot. You know, we're only using our conscious mind like 5% of the time, and the subconscious mind's like 95% of the time, you know. So that's where all those so-called past traumas and these certain types of things have been stored. So we go back to the default mode
without even realizing
it.
You know, the negative self-fulfilling prophecy just based off trauma, that we're not even realizing that we're negatively affecting our life.
Easy.
You know,
it's happening daily, and that's why we got to make the subconscious mind conscious.
Yes,
you know what I mean.
And even
start having that,
and that's why it's in Napoleon's book, Think or Grow Rich.
For sure.
Right? He talks about his literally first chapter is like, you know, write down what you want, write it in, let it all imagination, and say that shit every day when you wake up and every day before you go to bed. Because you have to program. The subconscious is always going to be subconscious, but you got to program it the way that you want it to be programmed to work in your favor.
You control the narrative.
You can control the narrative now. Maybe as a kid you couldn't. Your experiences, and some of the experiences you can't, but how you react to it, how you deal with it, those are things now that you can.
And you know, you would be surprised of, like, you know, and I've planted these seeds with certain people. Like, we would be surprised how much throughout the day we complain and we judge and we criticize.
For sure.
You know what I mean?
Hell
like, so much. And when we can, that's why I said to become conscious of the subconscious, because the key is awareness.
100%.
Once we can become aware, then we can make changes.
Yes.
But, you know, like the same Jesus quote you made, you can't fault them because they don't know.
Yep.
You know what I mean? But once we become aware of it, then we can start making changes. But if you don't know, then you don't know. And it's like you can't necessarily fault somebody for not knowing because they don't know, you know.
Exactly.
But once you become aware of it, then you can start like making huge changes, which that's, you know, awareness is key. And going back to, you know, the knowledge is power, man, that's like half the battle. You know, we gotta learn to apply it.
Yeah. Oh,
you know, all of these gifts and the gems that we picked along the way, we got to apply it, man.
You know, we were talking yesterday on the podcast about how academics, some of them just get their PhD or their master's and they just stay in the academic field. Or, I mean, you can apply this to anybody. It's just the easiest example. But, you know, reading a book is just one thing, or studying the studies is just one thing. But actually experiencing it and watching it manifest in front of you and being part of it is a totally different other thing. It gives your knowledge now an experience moment inside you, so you know what works and doesn't work. So experience is just as valuable, or maybe not as, maybe it might be like 60-40, because your experience is really going to hone that knowledge in. Like, oh, this shit is real. This is what happened. And I experienced it on my own, you know? So without those experiences and just reading in a book, you're just rereading what somebody else wrote. And not actually knowing and having the body. And it's not about being mindful, it's about being embodiment. Their habitual habits, your unconscious mind, the things that we do automatically. How can I program those things to be in my benefit instead of my detriment?
For sure. And that's why you're able here to, like, you know, have these words and have this experience, because of the experience that you've had.
Yes,
you
exactly.
know, like, we wouldn't be able to have this deep of a conversation and share this much engagement if you never lived it.
Yes.
You know, like, if you've only, like, it's like the polarity. You know, we start out in 0 point and you go to the quote unquote dark side, you know, even though it's all objective, you know, it's all one. But, like, you know, you could say, you know, you go to the polarity of the left, the dark, you know, and then you go to the polarity of the right, you know, and they all blind the same. You know what I mean? The darkest of dark and the lightest of light, you know, they all blind the same. But now you have this much polarity, you know, rather than if you only experience this, like, you got the book smart, which is dope, you know, but what's the experience? Just like the business, you could read everything about business and all that, but until you get in there and you start making the moves, it's like, oh, Shit. You know, Elon Musk said the best quote where he's like, you know, being an entrepreneur and like running a business is just like chewing on glass and staring at it. You know? I was like, damn, that's true. Because every day it's something, you know what I mean? You become like the world's best problem solver, you know, and it's a lot.
That's literally, I used to give my little speeches when I was a recruiter, but like literally that's everything that we're really trying to do.
For sure.
So all your knowledge, all your experiences, if you read different, I was always like, read different types of books, go to different experiences, get out of your comfort zone, experience different things because your mind collectively puts them all together. So when you are faced with the problem, you're not just going to see it from one aspect.
For sure.
You're going to be able to apply all these different experiences and cultures and the different types of books you've read and apply those in your mind. And then you're going to be able to solve this problem from a unique experience.
Yep.
People who make the most money in this world and who provide the most healthy resources and things solve problems in the most unique, effective way.
Beautiful.
You know what I'm saying?
Very true.
So
very true. That's the name of the game, solving these so-called problems.
Yeah, so-called.
And you know what is really a problem? You know, for every problem, there's a solution. But it's like I feel like that's what we're here to do. You know, just kind of clean up a little bit. Like you know, at the beginning you said the room. You know what I mean? Like this whole thing's our room.
Yeah.
You know,
and even if one, you know, because yesterday we were talking about. There was a political conversation talking about like maybe we don't have really an external battle outside, so we have an internal battle inside within our own country, right? Mm-hmm. And I was just saying like I think that's a reflection of the individual. Individuals don't know how to be alone. They don't know how to allow themselves to be happy. They don't know how to allow themselves to be okay, just chilling.
Yeah.
When we go to the lake, are you mad being at the lake? Nah, bro, you're just enjoying the lake. Yeah. It's like every day can be enjoyed, even if the shit's going, you know, like. My brother passing away, hey, bro, I'm grateful for all the lessons that you had. It hurts. I'm not going to say it doesn't hurt, but at least it's like, okay, I recognize the deepest truth. We're all not going to be here forever.
For sure.
So let me enjoy that, and how can I turn that into help benefit my life while I'm still here? You know, it's just like we need to get on, like, it's okay to be happy, bro.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be. It's okay to just be.
Yep.
You know?
Yeah. Happiness is a choice.
It's a choice, yeah.
It's a choice. And so many people during this time, it's like there's so many people that just want to lay on the nail. You know what I mean? And then it's like, hey, bro, you're laying on the nail. You want help? Oh, no, I'm good.
I'm good. Yeah,
yeah. All right. But then you can tell when you get around those people, your vibration lowers. You know, you almost have to go down to their level to kind of deal with them. But then when you are around positive people, you raise your vibration, you know?
And it makes you feel like self-doubt. It makes you feel all these different things are going, am I, what's wrong with me? And then it's just like, that goes back to the work of just really tuning in who you are and what it is that you speak for.
And putting on that, you know, in some essence, like even when you step into this world, like it's all one and all these things, but even in some essence, like, you know, putting on like the protection or the mantras, you know, because this whole thing, you know, like Nikola Tesla said it the best, you know, if you see this world in energy, vibration, and frequencies, you know, you'll see it in a different light. And it's like, you know, even sometimes I can see it where, you know, we are energy. And, you know, even when a boat, you know, treks through the lake, it leaves a wake behind it. You know, and that wake stays for a good little bit. So what's the difference? Like, this is the fabric of space, you know, like we might not necessarily see it, but it exists. You know, we haven't necessarily understand its density and its buoyancy and, you know, all these certain types of things. But what's to say the difference as we move through the fabric of space? We don't necessarily see the wake that we leave behind.
Yes.
And then as somebody treks through and leaves a wake, and then we go through their wake, we take some of that energy. Even though we might not have had that physical engagement, we took some of that energy, and then we start getting maybe some fearful thoughts or some judgment or certain types of things. Where'd that come from?
You walk into a room that's tension, bro. You feel that tension. Feel like, why am I in this bitch? What's going on right now?
And you can't see it. It's like, you know, but it exists.
But you feel it. It's like and you know, I talked about that because I, being a psychology student for a while, perceptual psychology. It's like we think of senses, you know, in the five senses. There's other probably things that are happening. And even if the senses like we have, like touch, your whole body's, and one thing they speak about in the military is your whole body's a sensor.
For sure.
And that's not just in the military. When you're at war in these places, like your whole body's a sensor everywhere you go.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to be picking up things all the time, from the clothes you're wearing to how they feel, to what you did that day, how that person talked to you right now by giving you a drink. All these things, like, we affect each other in all the minimal little things that you don't think affect people. How you looked at a person walking by might have been like, damn, did they not like my drink? Or like, it just triggers these certain things, and we affect each other. So be aware. But yeah, man, it's a daily reminder. Like, it has to be a mantra that I am going to be this every day.
Every day.
Every
the
day
work
I
is
wake
never
up.
done.
The work is never done.
Yeah. The work.
I was
the
going to
work
say
is never done.
when you're talking about like keeping your circle or the people you're around, keeping them positive, it seems like when you checked yourself into that Days Inn hotel, it's like you were like, okay, I can't be around anybody.
Yeah, for sure.
Because like nobody I know is good people to be around. It's almost
Yeah.
like you were like, I don't have any positive people, so I'm just gonna stick with myself, and maybe these books might give me some positivity.
And that's really
That's
what
for
it
sure,
was.
yeah.
Like, it was completely leaving one realm and entering into another.
Hell yeah.
I mean, even still to this day, like, all those people I talked to, like 1, 2, and when you talked about losing friends, I mean, every day on Facebook, they're dropping like flies because they can't get clean. You know what I mean? And it's a very sad thing, and that's one thing that we're working on right now. You know, a good brother of mine, he has a company called Natural Solutions, and what we do is we create natural solutions, and you know, like creating medicine, creating alternative medicine. And one thing that's in the works right now is like, in some essence, an at-home rehab.
Nice.
You know, with natural medicines to help people, in some essence, kick their habit.
Hell yeah.
You know, and you know, we work with a lot of different things, but a lot of it is solely plant medicine based. You know, and he does a lot of work with different formulations.
There's a lot of studies coming out on that stuff, man.
Seriously. I mean, it's like I've done a lot. You know, there really isn't too many of the plant medicines that I haven't done. You know what I mean? Like, if it was there, I've went and I went far. You know, and have experienced a lot. That's a whole other.
Yeah, hell yeah.
That's a whole other conversation. You know, but it's all good. It's all serves its purpose. But the thing that I've seen with plant medicine is you know, just like with everything, it's moderation. You know, there's a lot of people now that use it as an escape.
The medicine is really you.
For sure.
Everything else is literally just a reminder.
Amen.
That you are the medicine.
For sure.
And they're tools to help you
Very well said.
Yeah, in a short-term way.
Yeah.
You know, we get this is what saved my life, and this was saved. Yeah, but really it's like, that's the thing that started it for you, and then you got a taste for it, and then you got to keep doing it. The goal is not, we should, like you said, eat water, food, and shelter should be the main things that we really focus on, because the way how much water you're drinking affects your blood level and everything. Your whole system is affecting how much water. The foods you eat affect everything about you. And I would imply shelter is just kind of like, is your environment.
For sure.
So the people you're around, your internal environment.
And your shelter is a huge thing. Like, even the way that we position our bed, you know, like the way, because, you know, we are polarity. We have a north and a south. You know what I mean? And just like the grid, we have a north and a south. So the way that we position our bed, you know, you can even do this experiment where you can change the way that you sleep, and you can tell the different dreams that you have. You know, there's this, and that's another thing with the Garden of Divinity that we're doing is, you know, creating different shelters. You know, I'm sure a lot of people have heard of like Earthship homes, you know, like that's where we take another waste into resource using tires and bottles and stuff like that, making homes. But, you know, we also bridge that with another thing called biogeometry, which the guy that created it, it's slipping me right now. He's an Egyptian guy. And it
was on the website.
Yeah, it was on the website.
Dr. Jacob something?
Ingram, or was it Ingram? I don't know. It's all good.
It's all.
But you know, and that's what he talks about, is the way that things flow. You know, like even now, how many houses are built in boxes? You know what I mean? In squares, and we literally put ourselves in boxes rather than you step in a round room. You know what I mean? What's like that brings on a whole different level of energy, you know, rather than
so true.
Rather than squares, boxes, you know. So like the environment that we live in is key.
The way the house is set up, what is all this different thing?
The way that the feng
like,
shui, you know, the way that the door faces, the colors, the spectrum,
lights,
the light, you know, the whole thing, you know.
Is it Dr. Ibrahim Kareem?
Yeah. Thank you for that. Good guy. Shout out to that guy, man. He's doing some beautiful work, you know, all over. I'm excited to you know, hopefully work with that guy in the near future.
One of the things,
that seed.
Hell yeah. Put it out there, bro. One of the things that I did for my house, man, is I got a charm set, like a little charm thing. And I put it right by the front door. So when we walk into the house, we hit the charm. Wow. When we leave, we hit the charm.
That's
because it's just that energetic feel, like I'm home.
Wow.
And then now it's like, okay, I'm leaving this place, but this is home. Like, so when I come into home, leave outside. This is a place of home. I love my kids.
Great.
This is
that's so funny because I kind of think that's cool too. But like, imagine trying to tell like an 8-year-old kid that.
My son loves the shit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, bro. And
your son is like 8. Actually,
he is 8. Like the thing is, they don't know. Like I tell them this. But they love coming in. It's like they've built the habit, bro. Wow. They'll come in and be like, bling.
That's awesome.
So it's just like, and that's what a father is doing. I'm teaching them things so they don't know. You're welcome.
Thank you for being a father.
Yeah,
you know, and that's the good thing about, you know, living the way that you live. You can change the narrative.
Exactly.
You know?
Change the generational shit that's been happening. So we put little lights on. I got the little, you know, put some red lights in your house when it's time to go to bed. Like look on the studies of what's best before you go to bed. No TV, read, move a little bit. That's why sex is cool at night, right? Or just lay by yourself and like, but you know, there's studies on don't lay in your bed unless you're getting it on or you're going to sleep.
That's true.
Right? Like there's all different types of ways, but it's like these things affect you. Clean house is clean mind, you know, and how
cleanliness is next to godliness.
Exactly, right? But they do affect you. These little things people take for granted. It's like they affect you more. Even, you know, I was reading something, I forgot where it got brought up, but people leaving TV on in the house, even if they're not watching it, just as back music.
Tell a vision.
Yeah, it's
tells
not
a vision.
I mean, at least put nature, put something that's actually going to feed your subconscious, because once again, you're a sensor. You know, that's why there's a difference between listening and hearing, right? You're going to hear everything that's happening, but listening, you know, active listening is focused listening. You're actually paying attention to what's happening. So if you have a TV on in your background and it's just bullshit, you're absorbing that bullshit, even if you think you're not. And there's, you know, we get into other things, but like you want sound because maybe you can't sit with your own thoughts.
Yeah. And that's a huge thing that a lot of people experience.
It's a huge thing.
It's a huge thing. But I want to bring it back to the chime. The chime.
Oh, okay.
You know, there's this story I read. I just want to say that just for people to start, because I know a lot of people, a lot of individuals take their baggage from the outside world and take it home. You know, so there was this thing I read where, you know, this guy picked up, you know, his coworker didn't have a place to, you know, go or eat, so he brought his coworker home to have dinner. And, you know, there was a tree outside the door, and you know, when he was walking into the house, he hung something on the tree. There wasn't, you know, it was energy. You know, he didn't actually hang something, but he made the energetic movement of that. And went inside, had dinner with the family, shared some laughs, and went to leave to take the guy home, and grabbed the thing back off the tree. And when they were in the car, the gentleman was like, you know, what was that? And he was like, you know, I've just learned over time to not take what happens at work inside. You know, I hang all my baggage up before I get home.
That's good. I like that. I got chills, bro. That's even better. I might have to add that.
Yeah, it's real, man, because so many people bring that energy back home. And, you know, and I've seen it in so many households where it's like, you know, the fam just had this great day. You know, Bobby had this great day at school, and the wife's been cooking this great meal, and you come home disgruntled and angry from, you know, Joe Schmo that said something, you know, at work, you know, rather than just being able to sit down and have that love with your family, which is a blessing, you know what I mean? To have that home, to have that family, to have the gift of life, to have the breath, you know what I mean? But
that space is sacred, man. Your home is a sacred space, man. And your family deserves all of you, man. not the baggage.
Not the baggage.
I'm gonna hang up a fucking coat rack and just be like, leave your fucking baggage here, dog.
I really like that too, actually.
Me too, bro. I'm gonna add that to the char, bro.
For sure,
Because,
for
like,
sure. And teach the kids that, you know what I mean? Like,
no, for sure.
I was gonna say no, like I even do that over the phone, you know, talking to people like like I think even like yesterday I did that too, where it's like this person's having a good day or whatever, and I'm like I have my shit and I start unloading it,
bro,
on that person.
Yeah,
so it's messed up for me to do that.
And to think about how much that happens, though, to think about how many phone calls you get, and you can tell those individuals where when they're calling, it's just a data dump. You know, they're just dumping data on you. Dumping emotions, dumping it all, you know, and then you get off the phone and you're back feeling self-conscious, you're back feeling this, and it's like, man, sometimes you got to like disconnect.
We talked about that yesterday with the wife. It was one thing that we want to talk about too, like unsolicited advice. You know, the whole podcast has happened as people will tell me this episode, or I see you're nervous of this, or this is happening, or that. It's just like, oh, thank you. I'm showing up again. Like I have to. And say
sometimes that's someone else's projections.
But that's
too,
what the thing is. That's what you think is happening. That's what
that's what
you
think is happening.
And obviously, every episode is going to be different for everybody. But that's like cool. Like I'm enjoying it all because I'm on the ride. You know. But it's like this thing. So we were talking about like if I feel like I have some advice for you. Are you open to some advice? Are you open to some feedback? Ask for permission to give that energy exchange, you know? Like, not just fucking tell. Or if you want to vent to somebody, express emotions. Hey, are you open to me to vent to you a little bit? I've had a rough day and I would like to talk about it with somebody.
For sure.
But even understanding like, hey, I can't solve your problems. I'm just here trying to be of service because I love you.
Yeah.
So I'm here with you, but I'm just going to listen too. So it's just like, just those little things really affect, because you hate getting that phone call. It's like, fucking Bobby did this to me at fucking work today. God damn it. And then she or he is like, bro, why you putting me through this right now, man?
Seriously.
And that's, once you bring it back to the goddamn book I'm reading, right? It's the Letting Go. I'm reading Letting Go, The Path of Surrendering.
Beautiful.
And they talk about, that's one of the ways that emotions get carried on, like in a negative way, is expression. We think we need to express it to another person. But that honestly, what's that makes it? It makes people defensive, feel like they got to attack, or the offensive, like
for sure.
Because it's like, I didn't ask for this exchange right now. You didn't even give me a warning that I was gonna get fucking bombarded with. You know, you're pretty much bombing someone emotional day when you do that didn't ask to. Hey, can I have? You have 10 minutes where I can talk to you for a little bit?
I feel like you know, I need to do that as well, because even when you said that, it's like you shared that. You know, and this engagement is different, but just playing back in my head, like even you shared we shared that vulnerable moment of you talking to your brother, and then, you know, I shared a story. Yeah, you know what I mean. And but it's cool to do that when you have that open.
We're already here.
We're
this
already
is
here,
the thing.
You know, but it's a thing that happens without that invitation. You know what I mean, where people are automatically, rather than. Some people just need to be listened to.
Yes.
You know what I mean? Like, some people just need to get it out there, but don't always be the butt of the joke. You know what I mean? You could take some of that energy, but when you see that it's recurring and you're taking on energy, it's like, whoa. And there was one book that's called, I think it's the 4 Agreements.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one, where it's like...
Joe Rogan just posted about that on Instagram. That's so funny, because you posted on Instagram, and Don Julio...
I have that book.
Yeah,
that book's deep.
He posted
it. Agreement also.
Oh, the 5th agreement too?
Yeah.
He posted it.
There's
I didn't know time.
Really? I have
there's a 5th agreement.
I can lend you it if you want.
It's good. Be impeccable with your words. Always do your best.
And don't accept, don't accept anything or whatever.
I
good
forgot
or bad.
the 2. Yeah. There's 2 more. Now I gotta look it up. I gotta see.
Look it up. What's that?
What's
one of 5?
I know it's be impeccable with your words. All you do your best. I think that's 1 and 4, and there's 2 others. It's like
and one of them's like, don't accept anything, whether if it's good or bad. I don't remember the agreement.
I understand what I think. Yeah. Is like, take it. I forgot. We'll see. Mustache might come in through.
But Joe Rogan too. You know, it's like he talks a lot about DMT. You know, that's a plant medicine that I've dove in like real deep with.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I can't wait till I get out, bro, because I'll be in that shit, dude.
That's a real, you know, but everything's got its time and its
Hell
place,
yeah.
you know.
And there's different medicines at different stages, and not everyone. You know, I went to the shout out to the Sacred Sons brothership, right? The brotherhood is the medicine, right?
Yeah.
Men need other men, man.
Yeah.
We give each other permission. We allow the people to be weak and strong, and we can reflect on that. So it's just like there's medicine in all different types of ways.
Like
but
you said, the best, we are the medicine.
And we are, you know, until you can realize. It's like we need those things to help remind us. But then when you get to that point, oh, I am the medicine. So then that's where like the deepest level comes in.
Man.
How am I doing the work every day? Or what are my habits that I'm not doing? Like I got a whiteboard like this, bro. You can't see it, but it's 4x3 in my room, bro. And literally what you said about I am, in the center of it, I have I am a podcaster, business owner.
Wow.
Or first is family man. I am a family man, owner, or podcaster, business owner, men's work facilitator, and day trader / investor.
Man.
Like I'm gonna be, I am those 4 things. And I have all quotes and my mantra on there, my quote that I read every day. It's just like I need to remind myself every day.
How many kids you got?
2.
2, dope, man.
You might try to have some more later.
I have it's be impeccable with your word. Don't take anything personally.
There you go.
Don't make assumptions.
Don't make assumptions.
Always do your best.
Boom. Don't take anything personally.
What's the fifth one?
I haven't read it in a long time, but let me see. Hold on.
Yeah, that book.
It's like this.
It's good. It's a good.
Is it by the same author?
Yeah,
too?
yeah. It's like oh yeah, I forgot this too.
This is another one. Don't forget this one too.
I found this one too. No, but that's a really good book.
He's like, I didn't think this book was gonna sell so much. Also this one.
Let me keep it flowing. They like this stuff.
He got a bunch of good books, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, bro, it's like truth. Be impeccable with your words. You know, yesterday I reposted what Jordan Peterson put. Like, you want a real adventure? People are always talking about my life is boring or something. Like, speak the truth every day. Even like your truth. Find out
even if your voice shakes.
And if it's real, because you're gonna find out if your truth is really truth or not. And then some people are not gonna like the way you say. So things are going to change
for sure
if you speak your truth every day.
That's why I'm grateful to have this moment with you guys, man.
Yeah,
like,
man.
This was real good, and I like even just having this. It's like there's so much more.
Yeah,
you
we
know
can sit here and go, bro. Like it's just the conversation can keep going and going and going, man. You find the 5th one?
Yeah. So it's be skeptical but learn to listen, which is actually what we were just kind of talking about
right now.
Wow. We were talking about that just a second ago.
Wow. Listening is key, you know. That's one thing that over time I've gotten way better at, because like I was saying, like when people would share stories, I would lose it because I would be trying to follow up rather than just like fully engaged, because like, you know, like having conversation, you want to have something to follow up with rather than just being fully present and like transmuting that energy as well. You know what I mean?
Bro, because doing this with so many different people, different types of people and levels of relationships, it's like, and that's why I told you I love these headphones, because it kind of gets you in it.
Dope.
You hear it happening, you hear what's going on. And then I've had that same lessons, like where I'll be like sitting here, I'm thinking, I hear something out or something pops in my head because of what someone said. And it's just like, bro, just listen. And then I've been like allowing myself to, and I mean allowing because I have to stop what you're saying, think of I'll hold on to that, but like the person's not done with their thoughts
for sure.
So why am I going to hold on to something that happened
there? And when there's so much more,
and then it's just like I literally sometimes like I don't even, I'm so present sometimes I don't even know what's coming out. I'm just like literally the words, but I'm so in tune to what's happening that the conversation actually does flow.
For sure.
Like don't hold on to it because you're going to kill the vibe. And it flows really organically and things get inspired and but
there
dope,
is
bro.
Sometimes I've realized too with certain people that talk, like sometimes like when they talk, I get in a trance where I work so many things out in my mind, and I'm like, look, sorry, I didn't hear anything you said, but thank you, because I learned so much. You know what I mean? I might not have been engaged with what you said, but you were able for me to formulate stuff in my
you were engaged, but what you were saying is exactly what the fuck I needed to hear right now, because you helped me compartmentalize some things that I've been personally dealing with,
which is huge. Like, and that's why I feel like, you know, at one time I used to do it a lot, but journaling.
Hell yeah.
You know, journaling and just, you know, like documenting the day, like you know, you talked about nature. The more that we can become in tune with ourselves, like we'll realize, like, man, this time last year I was feeling this way. Like just like nature has its cycles, we have those same cycles, you know, and we can pay attention to like, oh, this time last year I was feeling this. Oh, let me do this. Oh, this is the time where I speed up and I work harder and things manifest quickly. Oh, this is the time where I need to step back and just observe, you know.
You know, the real thing is the women's moon, a woman's cycle of the month.
True.
Right? And what I've been learning being married for freaking 12 years is that I'm on top. Thanks, man. Yeah. I'm part of that. Like, I feel things change for me too as she changes.
Wow.
You know, it's like a family's entangled, bro.
That's so beautiful, man.
You know what I'm saying? And it's like a cycle of the family also goes through days where it's like we're chilling, cuddling, hanging out. Other times where it's like we're going out all weekend, we're hanging a good time. Then the mood changes. Like, women are circles of the centuries for the family, bro. You know, and men help facilitate it, and you know, we're the spear of safety, you know. The internal heart is there, and the children run around freely inside the freaking circle, moving around. I just made that up right now, but it sounds dope.
It sounds good.
It's fucking good. Right? But like, I just made that up right now, but it flows. That's why I'm good with this shit, bro. Right? But it's like, we in nature, just like the seasons, we have those things where it's time to rest, where it's time to chill. Like, you have to, there's time for spring forward, and there's times to summer, have fun and get the fuck out and go play and build and create and do. But then there's a reason why when the fall happens and the winter comes, we get really close to our friends, we get comfy. Why do you think a fire is such a fucking sacred place? Really? Because when they put a fire on, everyone wants to go around the fire. And the kitchen is just like that in the household, right? Everyone wants to go around. There are central focal points inside homes and insides, and we all have seasons and cycles. And if you learn to ride those waves and see them, man, you're going to feel more better about yourself. You allow yourself to rest. Like, okay, I guess I feel what's happening. I mean, we had a moment, I think, one time where we were I don't think we had anybody, me and Mike, I'm speaking to Mike, so the people listening, where we were doing a lot of work in the beginning of the episode.
We had, it was similar to this week because we were recording. We're kind of stacking up a lot of podcasts, but we recorded a lot. Yeah. And we were going to like meet up and record. Yeah. Because we do just meet up every Monday. And you were like, I was like, dude, I'm not gonna lie, I'm kind of like tapped out. Yeah. And I had something else going on. Yeah. And I was like feeling the same way, but he said it first. Oh, wow. You know, so I was just like, nah.
You already spoke that.
Yeah, it was kind of like I'm feeling, but it's like a part of me is like, I got to show up. Like, I got to show up, you know? And then I was like, man, I fucking appreciate I honestly, I feel the same way. Let's chill. Wow. Yeah,
you know, so and we both were like, that felt nice.
Yeah. So it was just like, hell yeah.
The quantum entanglement is real.
Yeah, it is, because you need time to rest. Especially this was something so new. I feel like we're catching a flow right now. But I'm going to Maui in a couple weeks. Beautiful. For his men's leadership course, and the family going out there to hang out. Hell yeah. So it's just like, I still want the podcast to have every Thursday, so we need to get episodes before I leave. So the steady drum doesn't stop, right? Doesn't stop. But then we'll allow to have our time to relaxation and come back, and I'm sure I'll get more guests, and it's just kind of like, but you know what's funny? It's like with the flow, I don't think we've scheduled more out than 2 weeks, the most, huh?
No, no.
Yeah, we haven't scheduled out more than 2 weeks ever, bro. Wow. And it just flows, and I'm just like trusting the process. Like, great. At first I was like scared. I don't have nobody for the next week. But something would happen.
It's just all working. Yeah, because we're just releasing every Thursday, so it ends up like you have a couple stacked up, and you kind of don't have to stress for a little bit.
For sure.
But yeah, you're right though. It has like naturally flown.
Yeah, it's been
flowed together.
Yeah, it's naturally going, and that's just like, why am I fight? Don't fight.
It's authentic.
Exactly.
It's authentic. That's what it's all about. Those authentic conversations.
Exactly, man. That's what you're gonna get here, motherfuckers. Yeah. That's it.
Yeah. The truth.
And it's like, if something happens, I'm gonna let you fucking know.
And I just want to say, even just, you said the 12 years of marriage, you know, it's a beautiful thing, and especially in today's society, there's been so, like through the programs, the television, these certain types of things, we've like Tupac said, why do we do these things to our women?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, I feel like men don't necessarily even know how to treat women anymore, and some women don't even know how to be women anymore, and there's like this whole like repetitive cycle that happens. And it's like now from music and all these things where, they almost push the agenda to the adultery and the pornographic kind of stuff, and have multiple women, bro. And, multiple women and stuff like that. And I remember I read this thing where this guy, he was like 80 years old. He was married for 60 years. And, he asked the question, like, how were you able to, stay married to the same woman for 60 years? And he was like, I wasn't. And he listed everything that she was through the evolution of life. Well, at one time she was a school teacher, then she turned into this, and then she was this. We're constantly evolving, and it's finding that counterpart to like love through all the evolutions.
I think what comes up to me when I hear you say that is that, damn, it goes into the like podcast from the last one, because people don't allow themselves to change. They hold on to the partner that they first got with.
Wow.
And when that partner changes and doesn't bring the same expectations that they have, they reflect that in anger, because now I don't know who you are.
Wow.
So it all goes back to internal. How many times can I change? I'm not the same motherfucker as 12 years ago, bro. I'm not even the same person 6 months ago. When we first started this podcast, bro, I was in a fucking whirlwind, dog. Like, and now it's just been like,
it was like every time he came over, I was like, "What's going on?" And he's like, "Bro,
bro."
and I didn't even know. Honestly, I didn't even know Ronnie like that too. And I was just like, "Bro," it's like, "What's the chapter? What chapter are we on right now?"
Yeah. And now we're at the finishing of that book and opening another book, and now It's just like growth, bro. But that's the thing, like that's what I've been learning deep in the relationship is allow the other person to be, be.
Simple.
Like you either love them
and just support.
Yeah, I say you either love them and to support and just be there for them and allow them to express and grow. Like then it grows. But when you start to try to manage somebody and start to tell them who they are, and if they're not making a certain amount of money, if they're not doing this job, if you're not talking to me this way, if you're not, well, I guess talking is a different way. But I feel like you create a symbiotic system inside your family. For sure. You as the relationship. And then if you have family, like you're creating the culture. So, I really appreciate that by the last podcast with Julian. Him and his lady have a culture that developing with themselves even before they have children. And like, bro, you're building a foundation of something beautiful. So when the children do come, they can play and enjoy their life. Yeah. But I feel the biggest thing that I feel people do is we hold each other back to somewhat our expectation is because you're validating me in my comfort zone. If you're growing and I'm not growing, you're attacking me for some reason. It always goes back to internal, man. I'm like, so this decisive element, literally the biggest thing is me. It's about me. It's about I am. It's who I am. And everything else on that is a reflection to the political environment, to the economic environment, to the fucking work environments, to the family dynamic, to the extended family dynamic, to cultural wars. Like it all has to do with the individual people. And that's like, I feel like that's the deepest truth. There ain't no more deeper than that when it comes to like how the world works. It's literally the individual person, and then the individual comes into the collective individual, the collective, and then that's what you see. So anything that's happening in the collective is a manifestation that's happening I wouldn't say each and every, but the majority of the individuals.
For sure.
Yeah.
And the more that we can fine tune the inner, the more that we can fine tune the outer, because I mean, there's some people in this world, believe it or not, that they don't even know what a COVID is. They don't even know what any of these things are, because they've not been sheltered, but they've lived a different life. This is the life that we've chose, and we're here to, in some essence,
I ain't been
clean
sick
it
one
up.
Time.
Nah, no diseases here.
No. Yeah.
But even with, and another thing that got brought up in my mind was this concept that I've been kind of like dibbling and dabbling in is something called epigenetics, and it's a pretty dope thing, like
I heard of that. What is that?
Yeah. So what they've done is, there's this one study with like mice, because majority of these things, they do them to mice for some reason. But there's this
mammals have the brain similar.
But so what they have done is they've shown mice pictures of what was it? I can't remember exactly, but we'll say like an oak tree. It wasn't that, but it was cherry blossoms. They show them a picture of cherry blossoms, and every time they would show a picture of cherry blossoms, they would shock these mice, and they did it for a course of history. Like through some generations, and then let's say like the great grandkids, they would show them a picture of cherry blossoms without the shock, and they would still get scared.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And it's showing that, the way that we show up, even though we might not literally be doing it, is the way that our kids will show up as well, because we're passing. And that's what I feel like we're here to do, is in some essence break these ancestral curses, break some of these ties, lay some of these ancestors and these some certain spirits that are still here in this realm to rest, peacefully, of course, so our generations that come after us can live in more of a harmonious way as well, but
so a good example, bro.
It's real,
beautiful.
It's real. And the way that we show up more for ourselves, do the inner work, the more that we show up for ourselves and educate our youth, educate the kids, man. Like that's
young
one
too.
Young.
Like,
it doesn't even matter.
You just
how
make
young.
it play, make it fun, make it part of. They don't know any better, or you're teaching them better, but they're gonna sense when they go to a friend's house and they see something different, like, oh shit, what the fuck's going on?
And it's
here?
not even necessarily even what we say at this point. It's what we do, because they're so tuned in. They're feeling the vibes. They're feeling the energy, So even just like the way that like how you do with your kids already with the chime and just educate them, they're open. They're like I mean, like I shared before we started this, I was at this little party thing, and all people my age, older, having these conversations where I'm just like yawning, like, man, I don't even want to have these conversations. And then I get in a conversation with like a little 14-year-old kid, and we're talking about this. We're talking about energy, vibrations, frequencies, and I'm like, dope. Like, it's restoring my faith. Like, all right, I want to work with these kids now. You know what I mean? Because they're literally the ones that the next up and coming generation. They're the ones that are really gonna take the reins on this thing, and the more that we can educate them and let them know, like, hey, the way that your parents turned out and said this and this isn't necessarily your destiny. You know what I mean? You can control this.
I just said that a couple of days. I forgot when it was, but I am my father's son, but I am not my father.
Dang.
Because I can see traits that I've gotten that I'm not, like, there's psychological studies that they show, like, twins that are not together, or people who, even if kids are not with their father or mother, like, they still pick up some of the same traits, even though they're not raised by them. They do the same actions. And it goes literally back to that mice study you just talked about. We're in natures, man. The same thing is happening. So it's just like, I am my father's son, but I'm not my father.
That's beautiful. That's
so
beautiful.
Everyone, unless you can be, I'm hoping that my son will say, like, he'll still say the same thing because he's not me. But I'm hoping that, hey, bro, like, I set you on a path where you can be like, my father he did the work to get me to where I'm at now, and I appreciate this shit.
No, that's.
I'm like, I got you, homie, dog.
Yeah.
You're the homie,
you're the number one.
You're the homie, bro. Can't wait to hang out with them.
Number one. How old are your kids?
8 and 12.
Wow.
Started young, everything, bro.
Good, man.
Been in the grind for a minute.
That's good stuff. Those kids, man. That's the life. That's what we're here to do.
Exactly.
Procreate and have our energy live on through our children and guide them and protect them, and that's like I said at the beginning too. It's like so simple. We complicate it, and it's. We listen to nature, we'll hear all the answers. You ask some of these natives, what's the biggest thing that's wrong with today's culture and society is we severed our tie with spirit. We severed our great connection with source, with God, whatever you want to call it, you know. So the more that we can, you know, gain that connection back and gain that connection within, because it all comes from within, and the more that we can gain that connection from within, the more that we can gain that connection without. And, you know, it's all this inner game, you know.
There's a great book called Ishmael. It's a series, but Ishmael, just read it. I feel like that's a great way to close the podcast, what you just did, bro.
Okay. Beautiful.
But we get nature, man. Love.
Yeah.
Let's not settle love anymore, man.
Nah.
And
should we say a prayer before we get
if you would like to, bro.
Yeah,
man.
That's thank you, brother.
Yeah, man.
Brother Ronnie, you know, thank you for all that you do. Thank you, Mother. Thank you, Father, for creating this beautiful light, creating this beautiful love, gifting us with this beautiful breath. We appreciate you with every step we make, every breath we take. We love you. We honor you. We promise to tread gently, to talk lightly, to be peaceful, to be nothing but love. All this existence is here for us. This is your world. This is your oyster. You can be anything that you want to be. Just dive deep inside of you and create this harmony, create this life within you, and ripple it out to the world, and let your gifts be shared with everyone that you come in contact with, because you are all that exists and everyone loves you. You are nothing but love. You are all, the Almighty, the Source, the One. You are peace. You are love. You are bliss. Oh.
Hell yeah, bro. Hey, give out your websites, man. Whatever.
All right, yeah,
how would you like people?
So my Instagram is Grateful for Every Breath. That's GR8FUL 4 EVERYBRETH. Grateful for Every Breath. My Facebook is Danny G, that's me, and
Danny D there.
And our website for Gaia's Gift is gaiasgift.net, and then did I put that in here? Gaiasgift.net, and then our website for Garden of Divinity is gardenofdivinity.org. And I'm here, open to receive, open to give. If the Garden of Divinity is something that you would like to learn more about, please, this is a thing that's bigger than me, that's bigger than us. It's time to come together and collaborate, and build. And I extend all my energy, my expertise, my connections. I've taken this time and done my due diligence to build like a beautiful network of just such heart-centered people ready to take action and have fun doing it with love and integrity and honor, and the journey's just getting started. We just get warmed up over here. So.
Hell yeah. Remember, all the work that we do is to have fun and enjoy fucking life. Sure. Enjoy the blessing that we got to breathe, man. Yeah. We don't get trapped in the work and be addicted to the fucking work.
Nah.
The work is for fun and play. So
Amen.
Have a good time. Woo-hoo. All right. Like, subscribe, comment. We appreciate you guys. See you next time. Take care now. Bye-bye, then.
Yes. See ya. Also, Danny's stuff will be in the description as well.
Thank you,
listening.
Peace and love.
Peace and love.
Mustache might come in with the facts.
Yep.